is Heather Biederman for Liberty Librarian again this week. And if you look, there's the elusive kitty in the window behind me. That is Zoe, the fierce huntress, who's watching something outside. And it's actually captivating my attention completely. If I move that a little, you see her? There she goes. Whoop. So dangerous. So tough. So how you all doing? It's been a crazy week. I tell you, I've been, scrambling to get stuff done, and there's been good and bad news this week. Good news, I think after tomorrow it'll be the first actual libertarian in our Congress, who is Justin Amash, who's switching parties, as far as I know, and will be running as a presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party. So things just got real, y'all. Lots of interesting stuff. And we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. I mean, there's so many really good candidates this year. I think there's definitely something's going to happen. So I'm very excited about that. Let's see, what else? Bad news today. They extended our stay-at-home rule from Governor Walz. I know a lot of people knew it was coming. We knew it was coming, but we're all really still sad because I miss regular real world. And I know even if they open the doors, the real world could still be potentially full of virus, but I know so many people are in dire straits right now. So I am very sympathetic, and I would love nothing more for it to start opening up a little bit more. There are ways to do it. But supposedly, from what I heard today, we're going from 50% to 80% isolated, quarantined at home. And I thought 50% was pretty bad. But 80%, let's go somewhere in between 50 and 80. How's that sound? I'm so done with it. So I am it's actually going to be beautiful weather now. I'm wearing my lilac because heck, why not? I smell great. Might as well look good, smell good. Growing my hair out like a Crystal Gale length. Eventually someday it'll be super long. I got a beer. Life is good. Got my health. Today, I'll just talk a little bit about the Minnesota side of news. I know it's not as specific to a lot of you, but I think you're going through similar things. One of the things that was sent to me this week was about that our state is looking at keeping us all in place. And people are talking about if it's your civil liberties are getting squashed. And I think it's bordering on that when you take away people's right to having a business and a livelihood. It's definitely a problem. It's problematic. Oh, and then, everyone is getting it in their head that eventually we'll all be out of jobs and we'll all be starving. My husband just went to look for meat, as he does, because he likes to smoke meat and barbecue, right? So he went to 2 different places where we usually have a really good time of finding really nice meat. And he said it was almost all the chicken and pork are gone. And we live in Minnesota, which is kind of like the breadbasket area of the United States. We're plush with food everywhere. And that is not the case. So I can't even imagine what it's like in other parts of the country. Seriously. One of the things that they had mentioned was, it was healthcare rights. In our state, I have to look this up now. I can't type. I remembered all of a sudden. Health Information Exchange, is that right? symptom screener. Let's see it. It was just this last week. So we're going to look at that. Minnesota launches symptom screener website for businesses to track health. So let me read you about what that says. The coronavirus, they launch a symptom screener website for businesses to track health. And I've heard a few people say at their businesses, they're taking people's temperature before they come in. Now, that seems kind of an odd thing. I know the people who've mentioned it don't work in a specific place where, not like healthcare or any of that. But we're seeing more and more of that. So when the virus is going on, people are very willing to give up personal freedoms because they're afraid. But will it continue? Is it right for it to ever continue? Is it right for it to start in the first place? That is the problem. So the symptom screener website, they say it's started by the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economics, DEED. And it allows companies to track the health of employees. All information is supposed to be non-personal, so it simply allows the business to keep track of temperatures and symptoms commonly associated with COVID-19, including fever, cough, muscle aches, shortness of breath. The website is free and simply requires a business to register by entering a small amount of information. Entering the Minnesota tax ID is optional, and I'd say don't do that. Once registered, they say it looks like it has measurements, fevers, new coughs, muscle aches, shortness of breath. And they track it. And the symptom screener provides a tool for organizations with daily snapshot of the health indicators of people about to enter the facility or workplace. And it allows for businesses and organizations to access anonymized reports that help identify health trends and shape the organization's response. And it's shared, obviously, by the state, which I feel like is pushing so many boundaries. And this wasn't all of it, though. This is one of the things I saw. But the thermometers are aimed at a person's forehead. And then within a second of touching a button, they can tell if the individual has a fever. So to get in to work, they hold the temperature gauge up by your head, check you, you're under a certain number, you go. Now, some people run hot. Some people, you may get an actual just mild cold. You might not be able to go to work. And this is, people are looking at this as positive and negative on both sides. On the positive, that you can go back to starting to have a regular life. What would be better is if you had testing, which would be more conclusive. Some things that may be wrong with you that would cause you to get a higher temperature, maybe internal issues that have nothing to do with virulent diseases and that sort of thing. So we extended the stay at home. So now instead of May the 4th, which is my Star Wars Day, and I was very sad that Star Wars Day isn't getting it. Next week, we're going to have a Star Wars party, just to let you know, because, of course, like next week is all Star Wars. It's like, it's important. And it would have been so great if Walls would have let us free on Star Wars Day. I would have been like, the Force is with us all. But no. There's no magic to be had next week. Hopefully in a couple weeks, but most likely probably till June now. I mean, it's looking that way. But I try to be positive and upbeat about it. But I'm also trying to be a realist so I don't crush my own hopes, Sometimes you got to be like, we're never going home. Remember the good old days when we left the house? And you're like, yeah, you crazy. We never left. I'm like, we did. It was nice out there. But nah, I mean, seriously, I think that it's a little scary that the government is getting so involved in setting up a system. It's one thing to say, hey, you guys should test people when they come in, but to track it, to monitor the data. I know it's to prove that they're actually doing it, but what are they doing with those numbers? And you say it's not personalized, but it's not like the state can't figure out who works there, what time you went in, and they can usually triangulate who you are by your phone. And if they know that you work there because they have your tax records, you turning around and leaving kind of indicates that you are the one who had the COVID-19. Big surprise. So if you think that it's that private, it's very ridiculous to think. So I get very nervous about people thinking that this is a good idea. And then we're going to be building field hospitals, from what I understand. Now, Minnesota is very low, and we want to keep it that way. I get it. We do. But also, I think our governor thinks that we are at the same level of infection rate and the potential for infection that New York City. And it makes sense that New York City especially would get so many because people are crammed in there. They mostly live in apartments, which, by the way, if you read any research about cross-contamination within apartments and housing where the buildings are attached and they have like a structure of air filtration, like air conditioning, water, sewage is all interconnected, then it's very likely, I hate to say it, that you have a good shot of getting something, being in contact with something. And I know no one wants to hear it. No one wants to hear it. And what can I tell you? I mean, we do the best we can. We try to be healthy, but Minnesota, many of the housing is spread out. Even apartments, it's usually not crammed in there. There are newer buildings than in New York. I'd say there's a higher focus on filtration and clean ducts, but not every building. No, not at all. I mean, seriously, it is kind of horrific when you think about that they count on people to stay at home, and yet you think about like nursing homes and how isolated they've been, and you see so many of these people getting cross-contaminated and dying. Where is it coming in from? I mean, it has to be coming in from somewhere. And so, I mean, you look at it and you kind of figure maybe it's because of the way of like living facilities where you have that many people in a building. It's kind of dangerous. And I don't want to freak you out because there's so many people that live in different kinds of, like you got apartments, you got condos. Don't take for granted that there might not be cross-contamination inside your building. What I recommend for people, especially with the water, is to have a filtration system of some sort. Like a lot of people I know, like the Berkey water filters. Berkey is like those big silver canisters that you can put on your counter. Clean water is good. Make sure if you have take a look at the filters that come into your house. See if there's a way that you can filter the air if it's coming through a shared air conditioning system. Ask the people who run your building, how is this filtered? How are you trying to protect us? How is the building cleaned on the outside? I mean, you may still have to take your garbage out. You may have to go pick up groceries and mail. Even your best intentions, there is always a chance for cross-contamination. And I know we hear this again and again. Don't touch your face. Don't, wash your hands, use a mask. But people don't think about the fact that you may be at home and there may still be contamination. So I think you need to be very safe about the way you approach this. Pause my brain for a second. I have so many tabs open. It's God. Like you get burnt out on technology, looking at it all day, every day. That's one of the things I missed about my job is getting up, walking around the library, looking at other people. It was kind of awesome, and I loved that. But that's the way it goes, baby. We're going. One of the things my husband talked about the other night was toxic positivity and platitudes and that sort of thing making people actually worse, because everyone is hi Zoe, everyone is entitled to having their feelings. I'm going to click this for a second. You'll hear me talking for a second. I just got to turn it off right away. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. I want to see. There we are. So cats are my coworkers now. So the toxic positivity, I'm going to bring that up. I actually was thinking about this. If it's a new term to me, I think it sounds crazy. Psychologists who coined the term toxic positivity point out that the mind over matter message isn't always the right approach, especially when it ignores, suppresses, or dismisses negative feelings caused by grief, trauma, or mental illness. Everyone is entitled to their feelings. And, like they want to everybody be happy. Don't be stressed out. Well, and you don't want people like going down the dark road either. You're like, it's okay not to be okay. Because none of this is okay. Not any of it. Honestly. And some of us, I even feel bad for the celebrities. People are like, they just put in their face that they're so great. And I'm like, you don't know their life. It may look good. It probably is pretty good. But like, you can't know what another person's going through. And there is always somebody who's got it worse than you. You don't have to bring somebody down. We're all feeling crappy. You know it, right? So it's just, oh yeah, I'm reading. Like, the problem is when you say this thing with toxic positivity, the Star Tribune in Minnesota ran this, and somebody in Twitter said, somebody just poured gasoline all over that idea and burned it to the ground. Positivity is the only way forward. I'd say my 2 cents is it's a lot easier to get through things if you have a positive goal in mind. If you feel like, I'm going to get through this, I'm going to be okay. There's things I'm doing to prepare. It's all right. I don't feel great, but I'm going to get through it. I'm going to take care of myself. And it's okay if I feel bad. But, for me, this is the whole, like, I try to find things that make me laugh every day. Find something that makes you laugh. Try to find something that you enjoy. I like music. So every day I take a little time to listen to music. I even dance around a little bit. And it gives me a little exercise. Because I used to exercise a hell of a lot more. And now I'm just like, all of it. And it's really hard to admit, like when you're a sort of positive person, that you have feelings, and it hurts sometimes. And you should be hurting during this a little bit. It's not normal. And yet you have to keep living your life. You have to. I mean, the alternative is just giving up. No, I'm not. Because what if, like, in a year or so, everything is awesome again? Why not? Why not have a little fun with life and have things to look forward to? Make that smaller. Yeah, there's a cat behind me. Stupid stuff. Like, I love getting to spend time with my cats, get to, like, visit with my husband. There's good in it. It's hard. I do a show with Kara on Wednesdays, and, every week we try to come up with something we're really proud of and we feel good about. And honestly, every week I'm really proud of, like, getting up, doing, like, coming up with ideas for a show, putting it together, doing it, and not just going, I don't feel like it. Because I got to tell you, like, exercise is kind of that way. Eating healthy is going out the window. But I have at least one thing that I'm really proud of every week, and I'm really glad I do this. I mean, like, it's so nice to get to hear from you all, and that some of the things matter that I say. So find those things for you. And sure, we're having shitty days. We're all having shitty days. But the thing about the positivity side is I try to find funny things to share with people. I'm not always going to make it about, oh, it's really hard. It's me. Because every time you get people pig piling on, oh, you don't get it so bad. No, I don't. There's people who go doing way better than me too. And there's people doing way worse than me. And you don't know. Like, I've met people who you're like, oh man, they've gone through everything. It's got to be terrible. And they're like the most positive people I've ever met. They're like, just keep trucking. And I'm like, okay. And I feel like we're all survivors. We made it this far. We can get through this. Can you imagine the stories we'll be telling? Like grandbabies and like down the road, like all these people, like grandkiddies, whatnot. You're going, back in the day, we had to stay inside for a couple months. Let's be positive here. And it made us all have great character. Like, yeah, that'd be okay. I like to think of it like as if it's already done. And then I can keep on going. I mean, my goals aren't changing that much. It's just timeline might be. Things that I want to do might have to wait a little bit. You have immediate needs. Take care of yourself first. Take care of your family first, your friends. Check on your neighbors. Try to be nice. This show has always been a little bit about privacy. And I realize by talking on a show and telling you things about myself, it's not privacy for me. But I know a lot of you value it. And I want you to know every week I'm looking out for things that you should be aware of. And it's really hard in this time to have any news, because I feel like everything is COVID-19, coronavirus, blah, blah, blah. But there are little nuggets of things that we need to protect. Because when we're done with this, we are going to want the world to be a good, free place for all of us. So I really hope that you think about that. I'm going to take a little sip because my throat is dry. So this week, there is, I always look at it, there's not a huge amount, because there's tons of COVID-19 response stuff for libraries. We're all mentally gearing up to go back to work. Censorship has almost gone away just because people are working from home. Think about that, though. All these parents who used to complain about books in the library, now they're having to find things for their kids to read. They can have that conflict at home discussion. It could be a learning experience for everyone. We will see. Or their kids become even more adamant to read what they want when they get out. So it's a beautiful thing. There are new surveillance features on the Amazon Ring. Let me look at that. Ars Technica this last week. Did I click it? I did. There are potential new surveillance features on the Amazon Ring. Those are the electronic door button features, so you can lock and unlock your door electronically. Amazon subsidiary Ring has partnerships with almost 1,200 law enforcement agencies nationwide. Does not currently include facial recognition or license plate scanning tools in its home surveillance line of consumer products. You think? But the company appears to be evaluating the feature and the future of feasibility of adding these tools. However, this raises additional privacy concerns over a pervasive platform, because it's everywhere. And they did a confidential survey to beta testers, weighing sentiment and demand for potential new features. The screenshots shared with Ars Technica potential new features for Ring include options for enabling or disabling the camera both physically and remotely. So, is that for the consumer, or is it for government agencies who have access to your surveillance? And they say that both visual and audible alarms can be added to ward off would-be criminals. So it could like make noises. So if they come up, potential object, facial, and license plate detection. So you too can have your home surveillance system where the government can watch you at all times. Each survey's included options a company is considering offering, although not necessarily actively planning to implement. So it's not at this moment, but they can do it. You know they could do it, and they're probably going to do it. So think about that before you put one of those things on. And I actually think some of that stuff is handy, but it's very easy for hackers to figure out ways to get into your house. So think about that too. You like your privacy. You probably also like to not have people steal all your stuff. The company, Amazon, does not have at this time use any such technology for facial recognition. However, Amazon has a platform called Recognition with a K. In January 6th, a letter to Congress, Amazon left open the possibility for adding it in the future. And they say it's based on customer demand. But which customer are they serving? Are they serving household people, or are they serving government and law enforcement who may be sending them money? Automatic license plate reader technology is widely used by local and state federal authorities nationwide, but not individuals. So is it right? Is it the right time? Wrecker Systems began marketing a version of its plate reader software to individual homeowners back in January for $5 a month. This is probably where it's going to go. Now, we've talked about some of the tracking software being in things like even on cars where they have like those cameras that go all around. Some of them are connected through the internet, obviously, and the potential to track people from cars, from door surveillance, from your phone. Yes, there's a lot of potential for all of that. So I want you to just keep continuing to think about the fact that police are partnering up with companies that are making these kind of doors, that they are making arrangements with companies such as Amazon. And it said in the article that there are 405 such arrangements with police partnerships around the country. So if you think it is not something that's coming to where you live, you are mistaken. And there's a lack of transparency. They need to share more how this works and what is the process that goes in to where the police can use your door for it. Is it anyone? Can you make it so they can't do it? Is there going to be a way to go, I want this, but I never want to have the police use it? Can you make it private? And I think that's a legitimate question for any consumer who is thinking of using this technology. Think about it before you buy it. Okay, that is one of the news. There is net neutrality is continuing to get discussed. The rural broadband, the American farmer, people are seeing that with schools all around the country, like being shut down for stay-at-home options. The haves and the have-nots are growing a greater divide, and it's very obvious right now. People, even with good internet, I have friends that like with a bunch of kids, and their internet is just by a thread. And how do you make it work if you have small young children at home and you need to be one of those emergency workers that can't be there? I mean, how does this work? I think a lot of people are going through a hard time. Academic freedom, people, people who have never gotten to work at home before now are, and their managers are probably going crazy. So I work in schools. I can't imagine how it is for deans to like process the whole, like, how are they working? Are they working enough? You know, one of the things that people talked about is that how some public universities are censoring social media speech for faculty and staff. And that's always something I felt like that is you, like the minute you leave, unless you're representing the school on a major issue and say you are representing the school, you really, that's your private personality. But we live in a world where people dig that stuff up and share it. So think carefully about what you're putting online. Like if you're going to blog about it, no, people might be watching you. Or don't do that. It's one of those things I agonized about before doing this show, is that people are going to look. They're going to hear about you. They're going to wonder. And that's, you got to be cool with it. If it's something that you would say to everyone, then do it. But know that there might be consequences. Not everybody agrees with you. I don't want everybody to agree with you. That the world of that would be very weird. So let's see. I think I had one more for big news. Yeah, all around the world, people are privacy concerns for coronavirus tracing apps. You know, how they're using your phone to figure out where you go. Some people are getting arrested because the phone shows that they weren't where they were supposed to be. Basically, it's like an ankle bracelet. You know, you're supposed to be your home prison, but your ankle bracelet is now your cell phone. So think about that. And some places are calling you, you know, not just like turn off your phone when you leave. They're calling to make sure you're actually there. So be aware. And who knows what else they're tapping into for surveillance. Eventually, there's going to be no hiding. And I mean, I really mean the best of it, that I hope that won't come to that ever, that we can have options to turn on and off features, to have privacy. And that's why I try to educate people to just understand the technology that's in your house. I mean, if you're cool with it, that they're listening, and I think a lot more young people really are, but it doesn't mean that's right for everyone, nor is it right that they do it. I'd really prefer that when you're at home, that's your private space. Government, like commercial businesses really don't need to be in your house. They don't. So, oh goodness. I think that, God, I know there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, health information tracking. I missed it. I know I did. No, I can't figure out what it was. There's something else with the health tracking in Minnesota, and I can't remember where I saw it. Might have been one of these, but you know, I look at the news so much on like the Pioneer Press and Star Tribune that it gets blocked out because I run out of articles really quick. So I'm like, oh, don't go there again. New York Times is another one for me. I look at it so much and then I get blocked out about halfway through the month. So there you go. So intellectual freedom news, not as much as it normally is. Doesn't mean it's not happening. If you see anything that you think I should mention in the show, definitely send it to me. I always look at my Liberty Librarian Facebook page, Freedom Revolution Network. I see the tags on it too. So if you tag me, Heather Biederman, I will take a look and we can talk about it. You know, there's so many things going on all over the country, and they want to take away your rights. And you need to stand up for yourself, and we need to stand up for each other. It's important, because once they take those rights away, it's really hard to get them back. And speaking of workers' rights, one of the things I want to talk about this week is tomorrow is the 1st of May. And 1st of May means a lot of different things. May Day. It also is Beltane, which is the time between the beginning of spring and the end of summer. And it is a magical time where the light is coming back. Summer, baby animals are born, human babies are born. It is great. It is a great time. Um, I have a song I'm going to play for you. I'm going to play the clean version. It is one of my favorite things around this time of year. But since it's tomorrow, we're a little early, but I'm going to help you celebrate. And, you might be watching this on the actual day. First, I'm going to play it for you. And it is super funny. See, I'll stop it quick so I can share it on.
You can't do this.
Okay. This is by an artist named Jonathan Colton, and he's accompanied by Paul and Storm and Molly. And they're on the JoCo, Jonathan Colton, Cruise Crazy 2. This is from years ago. It's about 8 years ago. And the 1st of May, outdoor sex ing starts today. So I'm going to play the clean version for you. And I'm going to put a link to this in the Liberty Librarian because in honor of the day, you should have a little happy music. So I'm going to show that right now. And let's see. Share screen. I have so many windows open, you guys. Okay. Oops. I did a mistake. I'll do it one more time. I think I'd get good at this, wouldn't you? I got to turn on the share audio. I think that would be automatic, right? There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see.
I can't not do this song, but also there's a lot of kids here. I'm not a monster. I don't know if you remember the Q&A session with John Roderick where he lied about having a job working in a gold mine and said that he was a sluice box mucker. Stars in his eyes. I hope you will keep that in mind as we sing this next song. I woke up this morning, had a scone in a large house plan. Had a little conversation with my squirrel. My friend said I'm sick and tired of winter and wish that I rain. Then a little come and Robin Redbreast began to sing. She sang, information, trying to live when you threw away. I'm pushing in the store, the people's core, and I'm trying to plan my day. All that I'm out away, wasn't home, so I called my girl. She liked to join me and to take the world. And I said, ooh, child, bring a baby down, I'll brush the pants off. Child, you feel like a this is the first of May, Sue's hot fucking starts today. So bring your favorite thing, or at least your favorite thing. The water's not cold, maybe dip in your big toe. Maybe I'll see it in the round table, to grass below you, sky above. Celebrate spring, get a little bit cold, looking outside. to the park together. We were walking in the midday sun. Met all kinds of people and we loved everyone. We loved the lady who sells ice cream. We loved the man with a tan short game. And we were leaning in the Happy Valley. They got a lot to say. And so when your eyes and your hearts feel the spirit moving through you. Child, you feel the warmth of the love when I'm walking your gold mine. First of May, Shoes Box Bucking starts today. So bring your favorite lady, or at least your favorite thing. One is not cold, baby, tip in your big toe. Maybe you'll say if you climb, take a leg to grass below you, sky above. Celebrate spring with a crazy little thing called looking outside. Looking outside. Looking outside.
Yay! That was really fun. I love that. Yes, Laura. Yes, Jonathan Colton. And it is my favorite too. And I had to play it. I played the clean one because it is utterly always like if like 8-year-old walks through the room whenever you play anything like 1st of May. And it's like the only, well, it's kind of, he has a couple dirty songs, but oh my God, it's so fun. So I had to do that because tomorrow is the 1st of May, which is Beltane. And Beltane is kind of a magical time. And I was thinking about the fact that we need to harness this magic. And a lot of people, the history of May Day, it goes back to rites and celebrations. You know, people dance around the maypole. When I was a kid, we did stuff like May baskets. Does anybody do May baskets anymore? I mean, I lived in Iowa when I was a kid, so it's very unlikely that a lot of people did it, but we would make these cute little baskets and with like pipe cleaner handles, fill it with some candy and put it on neighbors' doors or on their front steps. And, you know, like knock and then you leave nice little candy. And it was so sweet. And I mean, there are so many nice things. And we do little May parades where we walk around the neighborhood. And it was magical. So I think about we're in a time where we need to use this magic. The magic of Beltane is that people feel like the veil is very thin. It's Beltane, and right now, like the beginning of summer is Beltane. The end of fall is around Samhain, and Samhain is like when you think of it like Halloween. So the veil is thin here, the veil is thin there. Everybody thinks of Halloween as the time to do your big magic. And it is a lot of magic where your ancestors and the dead are very aware, and you know, you reach out to your ancestors and ask for help, or you reach out to your gods and goddesses, or you just think about, what do I want to have happen in my life? What in the world needs to happen? This is the time when the veil is thin to do it. And so I think about a lot of us are needing things. We need to have the world heal. We need to have people in our lives heal to make things safe in our households. What I would like you all to do is to think about how, first of all, what can you do for people around you? What do you need in your life? What is the thing? I mean, everybody thinks, oh, I just need a ton of money and then everything's good. Not always good. I think, you know, think about what do you need to be healthy? Have enough food, have clean water, a safe place to live. Think about that for everyone. Now, picture this whole world, and it's a little bit of a sick world right now, and there's uncertainty. If we all could just focus on the actual positivity, not the toxic positivity, where what can we do to heal this place? this world. And usually for me, I feel like I have to put things out for good things to come back. So if we, as people all over the world, I don't care what you believe in, we are all different religions. We can be all lack of religions. What can we do? And even if you don't believe in a deity, you have to believe in the fact that sometimes you put good things out in the world and it comes back to you. It's just a good idea to put good energy out into the universe, right? So there's a couple ways you can do that. I mean, I know so many people who are sewing masks and bringing meals to service workers, donating money and time, call a friend, call people to help take care of the people that are close to you. But if you're looking for a more magical way, there are easy things that you can do. I'm a big believer that the ancestors have a vested interest in your safety and your prosperity. But a lot of people believe that like angels and saints, and they believe that, there may be a goddess or a god or the god or your god or a god or all the gods. Whatever you believe in, put out an offering to that. Put something that you think is delicious out. And some people may even think that, no, this will be nice for like the little animals that live in your neighborhood. Fine. But do it with intention. Do it with the thought that we want this stuff to heal. We want the world to heal. We want to get through this and find happiness. I feel like the world goes on a cycle, and we're at about that 100-year. They had the Spanish flu in 1918. I was reading about the other day. Maybe it's just every 100 years, and we get the lucky timing that we get the big one right now. We need to want this to end. We need to want people to be healthy and happy. We need to want people to find a way to cure this, to find a way to stop COVID-19. Pray for that. It may be in a magical way or not, but if we're all doing it, whatever you believe or not, I feel like enough of a good energy in the universe going out there, it might bring back what we need. That's all. And it's such a magical time. In England, especially, it's a time where there's bonfires and parties. It's a time where you have maypoles and people celebrating nature coming back. And I think when you think of nature coming back like this, it's health and growth. And maybe that's what we need right now, is more health and growth. Why not? So please think about that. Tomorrow is also, what do they call it? International Workers' Day, which is another thing entirely. People in the working class need to be heralded, to be thought of. And I feel like our working class more than ever is suffering because of COVID-19. Many of them are laid off, unemployed. Unemployment is the highest it's ever been. And many people are still waiting to get support from the government. Lines for getting food at food shelves. Cars go back and around the block. People are really worried right now. And that's why I think, and tomorrow there's supposed to actually be protests going on because of the way our working class are being treated. Is it fair that you ask most of the people to stay at home, and yet people working in restaurants and fast food and grocery stores and gas stations are not paid hardly anything and still expected to do that, do their jobs tirelessly? And they are our heroes. I know we say it over and over again. They need to hear it, but we also need to treat them well. And maybe we We need to rethink about how this system is. We need to find a way of keeping people healthy, but getting people back to work, because people need to eat. They have families they need to take care of. I pray. That's why I want to pray. And I want you to send out that energy. Please help us find a cure. Please help us find an end to this, where less and less people have to die or even get sick. And that's all we can hope for. So I hope you have the most blessed time tomorrow. And it does break my heart a little bit, because I knew that the stay-at-home orders weren't going to end for Minnesota until Monday. And so we were all going to miss. Minnesota has really great Beltane May Day parades and festivals, and it's amazing here. But there's nothing. And I feel like it's not even going to be a normal year. I mean, it's like Easter, Beltane, May Day. What are all the things we're going to miss? I have families whose birthdays we've missed. Graduates aren't going to have a normal end of the school year. I mean, can you imagine being in high school and not getting to go to your own prom? If you were excited about that, or just walking in graduation, it's unreal. It's going to make things very demented for a segment of our society. Actually, all of us, really. That's why we need to pray. We need to pray for them. We need to pray for the young people that are going to grow up during this. We need to make that energy go find a happy conclusion to this. Happy enough may not be a great conclusion, but I think we all want it to be done. And a safe transition out of it. I have so many people in my life that are endangered every day because of it. Friends and family. And I would love nothing more than this to go, oh, they found a cure. We don't have to worry anymore. It'll be something new to worry about next. So I love you guys. And I know I love going off the deep end with you. There's please read more about Beltane. Read more about International Workers' Day. Tomorrow they say that, where was that article I looked at? They're all around the country, people are walking out of businesses. There's going to be strikes and sick-outs for International Workers' Day. So plan that if you have stuff going on tomorrow, like shopping, you may not have as many people around to help you. And they want to target some of these major employers, large ones. So there's coordinated walkouts, especially of places like Walmart and Target. So just be aware. It might not be business as usual tomorrow. And there are long overworked and underpaid warehouse and food industry workers. They're now deemed essential, and they are responsible for hazardous jobs. Yet unionized workers, and this is in this article I was reading about, are sometimes protected with hazard pay and protective gear. Many of these in the front line of grocery stores and the like have nothing. They may have some plastic gloves for food service. So just think about them. If you have a chance tomorrow, even if you're not doing any of my magical praying for the end of this, which I know some of you are like, whatever, kooky woman. Say something nice to the people who work in these jobs. Tomorrow, drop off something. Drop off, say, I got coffee for anybody who wants it from here. I haven't touched it, or just, maybe say, drop off gas cards. I mean, there's lots of ways of doing it without having to endanger anyone or make them question it. In the old days, you could just bring donuts, and people are like, freaking donuts. I'd still eat them. But people might be afraid. So think of ways around it and do something nice for the people that are taking care of you. I mean, who else is doing this for you? I mean, you're like, they're getting paid. They're not being paid that well. Appreciate the hell out of them. Do it. Do it for me. So anyway, I love you guys. I want you to be healthy and safe. I know there's a lot going on in the world, and tomorrow is May Day, and we are getting through this. And together we're going to figure this out, and we're going to have such a party when it's done. I promise you. I have like a little chimenea. I'm going to be burning stuff tomorrow. So I burn a candle, burn something. It's all about the fire and the light, the growing of the light, the growing of energy. Send that energy out. And I want good things for you. I want good things for all of us. So let's do that together, will we? So have a great week. Next week, Star Wars week. So plan ahead. It's important to me. May the Force be with you. Have a great one. Love you guys. See you later.